Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another late night edition of the Gridiron Power Hour. Before we get started, I want to give a quick old shout out to Bill Russell, as today it's his 87th birthday. He's 87 years young. The only guy we can call Mr. 11 Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
And you calling Tom Brady or Michael Jordan the GOAT?
And one of the only few player coaches that won as a player, and then after Red Auerbach decided to call it a career, just basically said, no,
I want to be a coach.
Coaching job. So he was one of the first players/coaches at the professional level.
With 11 championship rings.
And probably nobody is going to top that.
Yes, and here is a little update about the accident during Super Bowl Sunday. The young lady's name is Britt Young. She's 5 years old. The driver of that accident, he's the son of the Kansas City head coach, Andy Reid. And since his contract expired on Super Bowl Sunday, he is out of the job.
Who was this again? Who had their contract end at the Super Bowl Sunday?
It was Andy Reid's son who was in that accident. He caused it.
Oh, okay.
And also on the bright side, we want to, and this is going to be really dumb, folks. If you're going to streak at one of the biggest games,
a steep price,
be
put on blast on national TV, radio, and everywhere in between.
Okay, to the Goomba who thought it'd be a good idea for him to put on a swimsuit and to go streaking, dude, you just lost out on $375K.
And by the way, the guy said, I heard this today, that he thought there was going to be a streaker at the Super Bowl. Little did he know it would be him.
Yeah.
You idiot. Speaking of idiots.
Yeah. Texans, what is wrong with you? You are
the all-time best defensive lineman for the Texans. Asked for his release today, and he got it.
And he posted it on Twitter. J.J. Watt is officially done with the Texans as he gave them good 10 years of his entire career. 101 career sacks.
And I'm already hearing that little brother TJ is already trying to do some, how can we say, backdoor, try to get him to join the Steelers.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Steelers is not in the market for him.
Well, that's one of the teams I'm hearing.
Yeah, one of the other teams is also the Titans.
One of about 5.
Yeah, and Titans is one of them.
See, that's Tennessee's problem. Tennessee is negative $24 million.
Not necessarily.
Actually, they are. If you really look at it, they've got a whole bunch of cash tied up in their quarterback, running back, D lineman, safety, and a wide receiver. They have like 4 or 5 dudes that are taking up a whole lot of cap space.
Yeah, which is what they're looking at.
$24 million in the hole.
Yeah, well, actually, the salary cap is now at $180 million. They raised it since Super Bowl Sunday.
But Tennessee still got it. If I'm Tennessee right now, I've got other problems to deal with first.
Yeah.
Do I keep my knucklehead right tackle, which was a panic pick, and Isaiah Wilson, who hasn't even seen the light of day on a football field yet since he left college. Do I find a way to finagle my way to get a true center on this offensive line? Do I also
want to get rid of a kicker?
Figure out how to rework Taylor Lewan's deal, because there's a lot of guys with deals that they're going to have to rework.
Yeah.
In order to even be in a position, which I don't think they need to be. If Tennessee's going to do anything, they need to make sure that they draft correctly, because they're not going to be able to get the best of the best free agents. They're not going to be able to do that.
And
how the Vic Beasley, Jadeveon Clowney signings worked out.
Not so well. Also along with the lines of what the heck were they thinking?
I'm trying to figure out.
Jags, I'm glad you got Urban Meyer, but what were you thinking when you had him hire a racist bigot as his assistant coach? That's just asking for trouble.
One of the higher ups on the Texans ownership board basically decided, you know what, I'm out of here. Last week.
Yep. He resigned and several others got canned.
And Deshaun Watson, and to be honest with you, I have no problem with him having displeasure with how the Texans have been running their front office.
Yeah. And speaking of brighter futures ahead, twin brothers Marquise and Mike Pouncey have now called it quits. They have retired after 9 years as centers, respectively, for the Steelers and the Dolphins. 13 Pro Bowls between them both.
Yep. Now they can go fulfill their life's work.
They're both only 31 years old.
Hey, sometimes you just know
You know when to quit. Now,
and Marquise and Mike called it a career.
Mm-hmm. Which is a smart thing to do. And on the brighter side of football, there are a lot of funny penalty videos that most of you have known about, but a lot of you don't. And for this segment, it's going to be my top 5 favorite calls. We're going to start with number 5. It's my all-time favorite call. Everyone but the center. Now, the center was kind of smart enough not to move when you're not supposed to. But come on, the rest of you, y'all know better.
Like, folks, if you can't move until the ball is hyped to the quarterback, then that means
don't move.
You can't move either.
Which is why everybody but the center got penalized. And several teams, including the Titans, got called to the carpet on this one. Yep, the Titans had got called to the carpet for everyone but the center penalty. The days of Mike Mularkey.
That's not surprising.
My number 4 pick, and then there's, of course, as many penalties that you can get in one game. I mean, between the Steelers and the Broncos, there were 6 penalties called. And this was during the first quarter of that game. 4 of them on the defense, 2 are on the offense. All 6 were offset.
Yep.
Now this is a toss-up. Coming in at number 2 for me, it's very popular. The 2 penalties and 1 play penalty. The Steelers and the Bengals. The first one was a 15-yard.
Are we talking about the one where the Steelers had to go the long field challenge and it Punkman Jones cost the Bengals a win?
It's not just him, though.
Well, he was one of the main culprits.
Vontaze Burfict
gave the Steelers field goal range.
Vontaze Burfict started it off with the unsportsmanlike conduct, a targeting on Antonio Brown, lowering his shoulders until his shoulder pads hit the man in the face and knocking him unconscious. Now, Steelers receivers coach Joey Porter went and checked on Antonio Brown to make sure that he wasn't concussed. There's where the second penalty lies in. Pac-Man Jones getting into Porter's face. And because of that, the Steelers had gotten a major league first down, 30 yards without a single pass. And Pac-Man Jones cost them the playoffs and sent Marvin Lewis packing.
Oh, I remember that game because immediately after that divisional, that wild card weekend.
And Pac-Man was crying as he should. And
some serious talking going on from First Take to Undisputed. Anywhere and everywhere you wanted to find a sports talk show that had a hot take.
Yep.
TV or radio or online and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
On that game alone.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that hard to find.
Nope. And my number one...
That was at least a water cooler topic for about 3 weeks to a month after the season ended. To the point where Stephen A. Smith was demanding Marvin Lewis his head on a silver platter.
Yep. And my number...
And he finally
got
his wish. After being with the Bengals head coaching staff, being the Bengals head coach for 15 years. More like 16.
Yeah.
What he's counting. And as Stephen A. Smith nicely puts it, he was stealing money. And
the number one funniest penalty of all, giving him the business.
That is pretty amusing. Except for the fact there was one honorable mention where the Cleveland Browns and their fans got a little, how could I put it? A little bit angry after having the sauce.
Yeah.
Where the Browns got literally screwed out of a call by an official. I think that was the Walt Colvin game,
I think so.
The one where they were throwing stuff like beer cups, beer cans.
Yeah. Trash on the field.
Like, dude, that was a perfectly good Walkman, I could have used it.
Yeah.
If you were hawking your wares, bro, I would have taken that thing off your hands for free.
What?
You wouldn't even have to ask me for it, so I would have taken it.
I got another one for the honorable mention. Yes, there are penalties in the Pro Bowl.
The stupidest game that should never be played. And I still haven't figured out one thing.
It was that.
Why haven't they gotten rid of it yet?
I knew he was going to get around to that.
Because Roger Goodell's been talking about it for the last 12 years.
They still won't get rid of the guy.
In 2007. Let's backtrack a little bit, children.
This is 14 years ago, folks.
When Roger Goodell basically said the Pro Bowl play was flat out, straight up, steaming pile dog poo trash.
Oh, crap.
He said it was so god-awful that they were thinking about getting rid of it. And in a roundabout way, if he would have gotten rid of it, I would not have shed a tear. Because the Pro Bowl is about, besides the baseball all-star game, the worst all-star games.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the number one funniest penalty calls for me, the giving him the business. I believe this was the game between Philadelphia and Dallas.
The official didn't say.
Actually, he did.
Right, but I think they knew who it was. I think it was Mark Gastineau or somebody.
Yes.
As a matter of fact,
he said unsportsmanlike call, roughing the passer, number 90 defense. After he was on the ground, he was giving him the business down there, punching his fist into the ground.
Let me see if I can pull that, because I found this at some point.
Yeah, I found it. It will be in YouTube for funny penalty calls.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's on there.
I know what it is.
Because I was watching it this morning.
And Marv Albert was on the call, and I forgot who the official was. It was like, personal foul, roughing the
passer number 90 defense after the
defense, giving him the best
down there.
Like, dude, what was he trying to do? Do everything to murder the guy?
I think he almost punched the guy in the junk.
I'll put it this way. If giving him the business on the actual field was decent enough, I'm surprised no cops are calling him. I mean, literally. I mean, you're giving the dude the business. If he had done that, if he would have done that on the street,
you would have been in jail.
He would have been in the post. I mean, literally. Think about that for a second.
The difference.
For all the reciprocated violence, within reason, of course.
Yep, within ample reason.
You can get away with on a football field, but in real life in the street,
you will be put in prison for the rest of your natural life.
Now, we're going to definitely make this podcast short tonight. This tonight is not, well, tonight is not one of those good days.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides...
There is going to be out and out wows in
there. Yeah, but let's put it this way. At least, with the NFL draft less than 2 months away, I don't even think that the Jets are going to be in the market to draft Trevor Lawrence no time soon.
I have a feeling if the Texans would have sucked bad enough, I could have seen. But here's the thing, though. I was bouncing around through my radio station stuff, and since the Rangers weren't on ESPN 98.7, they're talking about, like, if the Jets could make a trade to get, Deshaun Watson and trade Sam Darnold. One guy basically said, Sam Darnold's not getting a fair shake. Like, dude, let me count the ways on how bad Sam Darnold really sucks major donkey nuts, okay?
Mm-hmm. If he was like Mark Sanchez.
No. He blurted out the stat that he had the worst receiving core and offensive line
in history
of the National Football League. 37. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but that still doesn't account for how sucky Sam Darnold's reading of a defense is.
Well,
it doesn't account for how god-awful he is when he tries to throw a football, especially under pressure, running around like a coon-ticked hound with fleas on him trying to escape pressure.
Well, let's put it this way. At least Sam Darnold got rid of his ginger hair. Because he looked retarded.
I couldn't even give him a passing grade for that.
Yeah.
If I were going to give him at least a passing grade for one thing, at least when they played the Patriots, he got the crap knocked out of him. At least he had the audacity to say on national TV or whatever, he's like, I'm seeing ghosts.
Yep.
Of course. Belichick just pimp slapped you again. Sam Darnold, you idiot. You flat out got whipped. Again.
And there's also talk about Jimmy Garoppolo being reunited with the Patriots again.
That's one of Deshaun Watson's teams that he wants to be traded to. His wish list has the 49ers on it. And Kyle Shanahan could be trying to do a pull a Jared Goff power play.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they could trade if the general manager of the Houston Texarkana Implosion Factory decided to pick up that nice little beloved in town cellular phone device, if he can ever figure out how to pick it up and put it on the right side of his ear hole, and made a phone call to the NFL Hall of Famer Sean Lynch, and basically the phone call would be like, Mr. So-and-so of the Houston Texans, Mr. So-and-so of the San Francisco 49ers. Names are edited out for this exercise, actually. Not exorcism, my bad. But he's like, blah, 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 blah. They get all the niceties out of the way. And then they go, okay, since John Watson wants to be gone, and we want to get out of Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, how do we do a QB swap? I trade you Deshaun and 2 firsts and a second.
And you give me Jimmy.
And you get Jimmy. We give you our 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a first for next year, and some cash consideration.
Yep.
Or a TBL, a player to be named later, the ever dreaded. Then we don't find out who that player to be named later is.
Yep.
If we had a baseball podcast, I'd probably be talking about the Cardinals acquiring another catcher from the Metropolitans and their pathetic excuse for a baseball team. In the minor league can't give them 4 catchers. And thank God, 2 weeks from after St. Trappentine's Day, spring training gets underway.
Yep.
And college baseball starts on next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
COVID virus permitting, of course.
True.
Thank you, Lord.
Let's face it, folks, this is going to be as normal as it's going to get. And the NFL's getting ready for yet another virtual draft again.
I think we've been hearing the little rumors floating around that the Chargers might trade Justin Herbert.
Yep. And the Raiders are trading away Marcus Mariota.
And where is he going?
That's the big question. Where can he go?
I know the Bears are stumbling and bumbling over themselves like a bunch of teenage kids at the middle of a prom date extravaganza, trying to get Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually glad Jason Fitz brought this up on the ESPN Sports Beat, name drop. That the consistency that these teams have, it's fleeting.
Yes. So not.
That's the Texans with J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson demanded to be traded, and J.J. Watt got his wish. And they accepted this request of him to be released out of his contract.
With a blank check.
Now,
if Deshaun Watson goes to Denver, would Denver be willing to trade a disappointing Drew Lock? Would they try to flip it like the Josh Rosen deal?
No, because the way I see it, if they want Deshaun Watson, they'll have to trade out Lock, a 2nd and 3rd round pick for this year's draft, and a 5th or 6th round pick in next year's draft.
And probably one of those picks, depending on how well they do this season, if they're talking about next year, could probably go as high as a 1 or 0, because there was one year the Titans had this same little dilemma where they had, like, what was it, a 5th round pick, and if certain things happened, it could go to a fourth, but if they if, the team that made the pick and whoever lost, it could drop to like a sixth or seventh.
Actually, the way they've been doing it for years is the team with the worst record who picks first overall. So this year's bottom of the barrel belongs to Jacksonville.
And speaking of another edition of Dumb Idiots.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott are no closer. And oh yeah, they put out their hype video. And who was not in the video? The guy that hasn't been signed yet.
True. Y'all celebrating way too early, don't you think?
Well, here's the thing. The Cowgirls backed themselves into this corner.
Like, Dak Prescott got hurt.
Never.
And Andy Dalton got concussed.
Ever. No. The Cowgirls backed themselves into this corner because they did the one thing you should never, ever do.
Take a guess, folks.
You don't pay for the outside in.
Pay from the inside out.
Don't pay your tailback first.
Ever.
The guy that's in control of the offense should get paid first.
Yeah.
Excuse me, if Dak doesn't have a beef and does not have the right to be ever so frustrated with his current employer.
Yep.
Because he has every right to be. And he knows good and well deserves to get paid. And Sarah.
And we're also going along with this. I'm going to bring up. Well, this is going to be brought up because we have talked about it ever so often. If you're on defense,
since this podcast inception.
If you're on defense, for the love of God, please do your jobs correctly. And then you won't get in trouble for doing stupid things to do stupid calls.
Don't leave about 5 or 8 yards worth of cushion where the receiver makes the catch. And then when he gets right to the cushion mark, he just basically pushes your hip upfield and runs right by you.
Or if you make a tackle, please, for the love of God, while the ball's in play, do not take off your helmet.
Yeah, really.
Dwayne Rudd was still embarrassed to this day because he's the unfortunate schmuck that did it during his days as a Cleveland Brown. And it was against the Kansas City Chiefs when he did it. See, Dwayne Rudd sat Kelly Holcomb, but Kelly Holcomb got the ball out to his offensive tackle. And he a big dude, and he was running.
Gentlemen, that offensive tackle was celebrating in his own head. He's like, yes, I got the football. I'm going to score. No, you're not.
And he was stopped at the 6-yard line. But wait a minute. When Dwayne Rudd, or as we were going to call him, Dwayne Fudd, after he tackled Holcomb, he got up while the ball was still in play.
A.K.A. Elmer J. Fudd.
And removed his helmet. He just gave the Chiefs field goal range to win the game, which they did. Because
we talk about this constantly.
You cannot win a play on the defensive. You cannot win on the defensive penalty.
Basically, if you give them yards,
you
deserve to lose.
And you deserve to be talked about for the rest of your life. So, Dwayne Rudd, you are the biggest manchani.
Dimwit. And by the way, you still got like a sore thumb too, by the way, if I do say so myself.
Yep.
Now, let's get these folks quick previews so we can call this thing a night.
Okay. So, tomorrow's podcast will be special because, like I said, we're going to still talk about women equality in sports and life. Because apparently, I read something across Facebook and it's pissing me off.
Uh-oh. I have not seen it yet, but
And I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with what Governor Bill Lee just said.
oh no.
Yeah, he said this today.
Hopefully, at some point, we'll be actually able to get out and actually do stuff. Because right now, a lot of us folks are about as bored as Christmas.
Yeah. So basically, right now, he's basically making fun of LGBT rights right now.
Save your commentary about that for tomorrow. No, we didn't go full board because today was not one of them days. Because
Everything though went right down the river without a popsicle stick and both feet jumping. Unfortunately, if we had more time with this, and we could have
hold that story for Saturday.
Yeah.
But once again, kids, we are putting the disclaimer here. We do not, under any circumstances, talk politics on this ever-loving podcast. If you want a podcast on ranting and raving and hollering and all that other good jazz about politics and yada 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 yada.
Because if we bring it up, we're both going to be very angry about it.
Go find your favorite podcast directory, and you can listen to all the screaming you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do our fair share of streaming, but at this point, it's not necessary.
Not in this podcast. All we're going to talk about is idiots in sports who are getting into a world-class pissing match or a world-class pissing contest and see who's the better person.
Like, dude, here's stuff for you. Stop taking the Wheezing Room cereal bowl. That's gross.
No.
Now,
don't ever do that.
Preview of what's ahead. Should everything go according to plan? Or do you want to break at least a little piece of news here, or do you want to wait and save that till tomorrow?
All right. One little piece of news is,
which we will discuss, which is something that I basically have been complaining about with this league for the last almost month and a half. We're not in the league, but do you remember when I said that if this league is going to go anywhere,
we have to get on the same page.
You got to get your ducks in a row.
And hopefully by tomorrow's meeting, we will. And one of those ducks in a row is we're not going to do the championship game in Jerry World.
And like I said to you before, remember last week I said, if he's going to do anything, since this is an inaugural season, don't bother with trying to get a big stadium. Because we're not going to build a whole bunch of. You're not going to build a fan base like 100,000 folks right off the bat. It's literally impossible.
Yes, and since the championship game will be on near the tail end of July, and also, folks, we're not going by the Massey rating.
Yes.
Because the way I feel about that is it's stupid.
It drove me nuts because I mean, every week I looked at how they rank their teams, and the way they do it, it basically says all you other teams that are doing it the right way, we don't care about you. And to me, that's not the way a league should work. It literally irks me to no end how stupid the Massey ratings are. I mean, it's something
it's dumb as hell.
Bad.
So are you kidding me, folks? The thing is, we don't want to go by the Massey rating. The Massey rating is what will piss people off.
At all these teams that are putting a product out there on the field, trying to do it the right way, and because they only have like 1,000 fans, drop them. That ain't right, okay? That ain't right, folks. I mean, no pun intended, but that ain't right.
No.
I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm. In no way, no shape, or form
That is like the biggest slap in the face of decorum.
And a lack of disrespect.
Well, it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect. Actually, it's respect not even given for the work of these people who have put their heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears and a whole bunch of cash into having a team that fans have come out to see these ladies and future kids that are females that want to get on this team, that they'll have somebody to look up to. Not because of some stupid massive rating to fan bases,
but just because they want to. Now, if you want to see something good, wholesome, and funny, I suggest you go on YouTube and look up the 100 Seasons NFL Super Bowl 53 commercial. Where if you watch it very carefully, you will see Sarah Thomas and little Sam Gordon.
Yep.
And you also see Beast Mode going full cake mode.
More like holy catfish on the Saints defense when he basically bloodied their nose. As the late Muslim would say, Marshawn Lynch stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. Just broke their face.
Nah, this man was considering feeding his face with a piece of cake.
Marshawn Lynch.
And one of the worst things you can have on top of a cake will be a football. And you know what happens when a football falls off the cake?
Yeah, besides frosting being on it.
All hell breaks loose. You'll see the 72 Dolphins just chilling.
Eating a deep dish pizza.
Yep. You'll see Emmitt Smith brag about, I got more yards than they do. And he does. You'll see Ndamukong Suh behaving himself for once.
And by the way, Marshawn and Emmitt Smith topping them all, playing with one hand.
Yeah.
Running the ball with one hand. Catching the ball with one hand. After separating his left and talented shoulder on his left side, he had to use his right hand, literally.
Yes, and you will also get to see the pleasure of Baker Mayfield sitting next to Tom Brady, telling him, "Get in there, old man." And Tom Brady giving Baker the pleasure of holding all 5 of the Super Bowl rings at that time. And Baker with a big smile on his face.
Now, let's let the good people know what's on tap. Do we have a guest tomorrow?
Like I said, my guest will be an up-and-coming owner of an up-and-coming team independently by the name of Alex Cox.
So he's joining us tomorrow?
He's joining us tomorrow.
Awesome.
Because after he talked to Michael Burmy, he got in touch with me.
I wish we had Bernie on this week's show. We would have had at least a whole lot of other stuff, a lot of commentary from.
Yeah, but as it is, he don't get off of work until 10 o'clock.
Yes, of course.
And I got to be at work by 9:45 in the next morning.
Yeah. You know what? I actually like doing these early. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Shorter.
Yeah.
And due to the fact that today, this whole weekend, the next little while.
Yeah. Sure. Because the way the NFL is doing right now is make me want to take a CO2 tank and hit myself in the mouth.
Save that for tomorrow, because I want to give at least those 2 stories we're talking about, the LA and the NFL. They're just due, while with a guest in between,
yep. And since this is going to be after our meeting,
it is the regular edition of the Beloved After Hours podcast, Nightmares Insider / meeting recap / special guest with owner /
Yep. ...
insert point counterpoint here.
Yep. On Facebook Live tomorrow.
And that means we are hitting you at what, 7:30ish?
7:30.
So since you sent me the link again, I want to ask for the link tomorrow.
No.
If that one doesn't run out, that is.
No. So basically, folks, as we wrap this up, we're going to leave you with a little something positive. Just because you are of a different
in the world, my good people.
Yeah, because you are a different gender, it doesn't mean that we don't command the same respect as everybody else does. Everybody has the right to play what they want to play, despite race, gender, or sexual orientation. Take those out of the equation. They're just people. Leave them alone.
Let them live their lives.
Because tomorrow, because I'm not going to get into it today.
Because this one was a quick wraparound.
Yeah, because if I get into it today, I'll be pissed off tomorrow.
Now we'll give you full warning that the Nightmares Insider Edition of the Gridiron Power Hour, yes, if there's something that gets us ticked off, we'll hear After Hours Friday Spectacular bust out.
Yeah.
So we're giving you full warning for those of you that like the clean edited version ahead of time.
Yeah, because if you like the clean version that ahead of time, we will put this on Spreaker. But since this is the uncensored version, it's going on YouTube.
Well, tonight was not uncensored though.
No.
Tonight, I think this one was about as calm as we've actually been on a freaking pod.
Yeah.
Now that's saying something.
Yeah, without both of us losing our shit. Because if we were going to talk about something else, you'll see the two of us flip our shit. And we hardly ever flip our shit.
Unless you want to have, I don't know. Unless you want to find somebody to be a guinea pig and actually whack them in the face with a can of beverage of choice.
Oh, Jesus.
And record it for the world to hear.
Kaboom! Or you decide to streak on the biggest stage of them all for 375 big ones, but wound up losing it in bail money after they arrested your ass.
And and to add more insult to injury, Kevin Harlan doing the play-by-play of you actually getting tackled like the schmuck. And very entertaining.
Yeah. If you're looking for those for us dropping a whole bunch of F-bombs and S-bombs and whatnot, then that podcast will be on YouTube, and that'll be for all you adults because it's not for kids.
It's the version of as Cartoon Network calls the
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Or as Cartman would like to call it, you gonna start respecting your motherfucking authority.
Oh, I love Mr. South Park.
God, and folks, we're not gonna kill nobody. We're just gonna call you a bunch of bastards.
Oh my God!
You bastard!
Every time they end somewhere, every time Kenny's always dead.
You bastard! You killed Kenny again!
Dude. How is it that you're gonna write every time Kenny getting killed?
He comes back alive in the next episode. And they've been doing it for the last 10 years.
I think South Park has been on the air for over 20.
Yeah. So Kenny should be in college in hell right now.
Well, that ain't happening because if they ever put the dolls in college, he just wouldn't feel right.
Nope.
But then being in that elementary school with that weird teacher's name or whatever.
Miss Chuck's on dick.
Whatever.
No, that's Mrs. Garrison.
I still remember the Christmas episode where they had Cartman singing.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, I had it at one point. I don't have it anymore.
I know what you're talking about, but even I don't know the title of it because it was too damn bastard funny, okay?
I couldn't even get to the first 5 minutes without dying. And every time this commercial, I was getting shot with a cattle prod.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh, don't do that, children. You're gonna hurt yourself, okay?
And then in the end, when he got shot so many times, he sounded like an opera nerd.
And folks, if you really want to laugh, just watch the movie South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, please do not sing that Cosmo bitch. She's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a stupid bitch. A bitch to all the boys and girls.
No, I didn't catch that part. Maybe that's the thing I did.
Well, or in this case, please do not go to your uncle and call him an uncle fucker. Please don't.
Every South Park reference that comes up out of this show, it's not our own creation.
It's not our fault. The credit goes to Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Those two sick bastards.
It could be.
Well,
Thank goodness you don't get arrested for it.
Well, let's put it this way. At least I didn't tell him you're gonna sign that special ed. Yay! You be a crank anchor.
Anything else I need to close out with before we close this thing down for the week? For it's the Friday night pod?
Yes. But like I said before, folks, equality in sports and life go hand in hand. So treat others the way you want to be treated, and that's with respect.
And you'll find out why tomorrow. And yes,
yeah, because if I see disrespectful things on YouTube, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna put you on blast, and I don't give two flying shits about it.
Nope.
Because if you do something that will piss me off,
stupid, you should be called out for it because you know better.
Yes.
As an adult.
Yes, because for one thing, on this podcast, we're talking about everybody as equals in equality. But to hear people talk about other people that they're not our equals, I'm gonna put you on the carpet, especially if you're an elected official.
No, we're not putting you on the carpet. We're calling you to the carpet.
Especially if you're an elected official, I'm going to put your ass on blast. I'm not going to let you know. And I'm even going to let the ones who voted for you know that he ain't going to be running for president ever again, so he can kiss my own black ass.
Well, they're trying to finagle the ever-popular bleeping loophole. Don't get me started.
Good luck with that. Because we don't need to get riled up as it is. Because it sucks.
Close.
Leave it alone.
From going post.
Because if you bring it up on YouTube, I'm gonna call you to the carpet. I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm gonna call you a chicken shit.
Oh yeah, and by the way, just to shame you even further, I'm gonna have that nice flippin' and tiny little picture. Have that nice YouTube video of the dude whacking the dude in the face with the eyes with the twisted teeth.
And you're gonna get hit in the face with it. Boom!
I'll imagine you getting whacked in the face.
No, I'll do you one better.
And getting launched like a freaking hazmat torpedo.
No, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna run you over with a Peterbilt truck driving and pulling his stupid ass house.
No, screw the Peterbilt truck. No. If you really want to go running over folks, just go get a freaking 18-wheeler.
Fuck the 18-wheeler. I'm gonna get a tank. I'm gonna run you over and squeeze you out like a tube of toothpaste.
Well, not only that. If we're talking about expensive equipment, just go and get a bulldozer with a forklift. Start digging.
Or
Time for the excavation of the poor sapazoid.
Or I'm going to get a forklift and do to you like Peter Griffin did to a whale. I'm going to stab you with it and let your guts come out.
Stab you, put you on top of it, lift you high into the air,
and shake you loose until you split in half.
With more hang time than a Ray Guy, Sean Landetta punt. That basically could go for a non-stop flight from here to Istanbul, Turkey.
Until you get split in half. And your guts is all over the place.
And then he got totally dropped.
Or I'm going to beat you like Stewie beat Brian, like he don't stole something. And then I ask you, where's my money? You going to give me my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Where to put my money? You going to bring me my money?
Like that dude on the furniture warehouse, like, give me my money.
You going to give me my money? Where's my money? Oh, yeah, said I'm not going to use a baseball bat. I'm going to use a hockey stick.
No. Forget the baseball bat. Now you're thinking like the Duvall brothers when they basically destroyed a poor dude, murdered the dude, and then fed him to pigs. After cracking his head open with a freaking aluminum baseball bat like they use in college. And I don't even want to think about this now.
that splat.
No. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I don't even want to think about this.
Yep.
No. I don't want to have to rethink about the Duvall brother, Coco and whoever Duvall. Talking about like, harassing folks after they had just got done murdering a poor dude on a Cold Case Files episode, feeding them to the pigs.
No.
And see, pigs don't.
No. I'm gonna bring you one better. I'm gonna do you one worse. I'm gonna do you one worse. Cause if you piss me off, I'm gonna do to you like Omami Nelson did to her husband. I'm gonna beat you with an iron. I'm gonna cut you up. I'm gonna cook your body parts, and I'm gonna eat them.
Oh God! I remember that snapped episode. Oh Jesus!
Yep. Cause she ate everything from the ribs to the. So she ate everything of her husband's from his ribs to his testicles.
And the ever popular where Lorena Bobbitt.
Oh Jesus! She's the only person with the common sense to cut the guy's dick off and throw it in the freaking woods.
Yeah, but sadly they were with her parents.
Nah, but it's not the same as it used to be. It's just a part of a stunt, crooked.
Well, I think they actually saved it, actually. Even though it wasn't frozen. Oh my God. Oh my dude, I'll put it this way. You shouldn't have done that.
And you deserve it.
Or that lady that I just got to listen to a podcast off of, Deborah Green in Medical Murders.
Oh boy. Or Dorothea Fuente.
Where she used castor beans and basically burned her own kids alive.
Yeah.
No, I ain't lying. And that was a Forensic Files episode too.
Yeah.
And that is still disturbing.
No. You want to know what disturbing is? I'll tell you what disturbing is. I'll tell you what's disturbing. You putting rat poison in your food and feed it to your relatives.
Try this. There was a lady who used antifreeze.
Of course.
Started in his food.
Yeah, the man did.
Filled them with antifreeze, Joe.
Yeah. Or the neighbor Don sabotaged a 6-pack of Coke by putting antifreeze in it.
Or do you remember the episodes of the Tylenol capsule thing?
The Tylenol murders, anthrax. I remember that. That is way beyond disturbing.
And then there was that other one with that Dorothy lady who kept, killing folks, and the judge was like so ticked off. He's like, you know what? Now I'm not going to give you the death penalty. I'm going to let you decide how you go out.
Yeah, that was Dorothea Fuente.
Yes.
She killed them for financial reasons. She killed them for their SSI money. And then buried their bodies in her backyard.
Like, dude.
And after they dug up her backyard, they were trying to find her. She disappears.
Oh, they found her.
Yeah, in the bar.
Brought her tail back.
Oh, yeah. Or
the show from Investigation Discovery, when they actually had some cool shows on it.
Yeah, they still actually. But the thing is, folks, you treat people kindly, we will give you the same respect and kind.
But if you're going to treat them like trash,
we're going to treat you just as bad, but 10 times as worse.
And be total tools.
But we'll treat you just as bad. But we're only going to treat you worse. And guess what? You're going to motherfucking deserve. You're going to sit there and take it.
Well, thank God most of these people aren't listening. But if they are, you have no escape.
Because if you disrespect everybody else, just because you don't like who they are now,
and like the world owes you something when the world owes you nothing, you get what you pay for.
But if you want to treat somebody rotten based on their skin color, their sexual orientation, or their gender, make no mistake. I told you, and I will promise you, I will call your ass to the carpet. I will call you out like you is. And then I will really embarrass you and hurt your feelings. Because as it is, I am a huge supporter of the LGBTQIA community. I am a supporter and ally. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. You insult somebody else, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to put you on blast. I'm going to put you on point.
Especially when they've done nothing to you.
All they want to do is be treated with respect. That's all they want.
That's all we as human beings ask for. Nothing more, nothing less.
It's like the old saying goes, respect is given when respect is earned when respect is given. If you get respect, you got to get it. If you don't,
if you give it, it's given back. If you don't, and you are a total tool,
we're gonna treat you like the garbage that you are.
Pay for it.
We're gonna treat you like trash, and that ain't no joke. Because I will tell you like it is. And I'm
close this out so we can do some make sure that we're on the right path for what's in.
Okay, so this is gonna close
about what 7:30 or
so. 7:30. So we're gonna close this out, and I'm like we said before. I'm closing it out. Treat people with respect. You get it back tenfold. And treat them with kindness. You get that back tenfold. You treat them wrong, and we'll treat you like trash. And you ain't gonna like it.
Just because these vaccines are rolling out, that still doesn't take you off the hook.
Wear the mask. Practice safe social distancing. Keep your hands out your eyes and your nose and your mouth. Wash your hands for as long as it takes to sing the happy birthday song twice or the ABC song once, which is about 20 freaking seconds. That's all it takes.
Or enough time to watch, or enough time on the Super Readers episode with the pig to sing the ABC song.
Oh boy.
Which actually wasn't too bad.
Because if you do something stupid and wrong, if we find out about it,
5 seconds. Not even that.
I'm gonna call you Caillou and treat you like a 4-year-old. But then again, that's gonna be insulting to that little cartoon boy because he's the voice of a grown woman for the last 12 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen that show on in quite a while, in fact.
It ain't on no more.
I know it's not.
Yeah, because you want to know what replaced it?
Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood?
Not only that. Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum and Molly Denali.
And those shows also are not running anymore.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And HBO bought all the rights to the Sesame Workshop, so all the Sesame Street shows is on HBO.
Plus PBS.
Yeah. PBS has got the reruns, but due to the fact that one of them was controversial because it was showing Elmo's uncle as gay. Yeah, that was the complaint about that, and that's why the rest of them was shown on HBO.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah, that and the actor who plays Elmo got himself into deep trouble.
All right.
So, to close, like I said, we're going to close this out. You're going to treat people with respect, you're going to get it back. Treat them with kindness, and you're going to get it back. You treat people wrong, we'll treat you like trash.
Yep, that's about the size of it.
And that's all I'm saying about it. So don't do it.
Gridiron Power After Hours Spectacular, over and
out.
Good night, people.
And go to sleep, please.
Last one.